Hello everyone and welcome to another War Within guide. Well, this one is back to the roots. We're talking about Mage Tower again. So I've taken the time and made us a sheet of how the HPs of the bosses have changed during Dragonflight pre-patch and the new pre-patch. This new pre-patch would be ever since last Wednesday, which was what, the 21st? Well, I, I don't know what Blizzard is thinking, seriously. So first of all, they make everything worse during pre-patch, which is fine, okay. You made a mistake, you made some scaling mistakes, you made Mage Tower harder than it was supposed to be. Fine, mistakes happen, right? But then last week, they rebuff it. They buff it again, they make it even harder. Some classes more, some classes less, but you cannot explain this to me. Like, what rightful mind would be like, okay, I have seen the forums. There have been a lot of complaints. We made this a scaling issue. We're gonna buff it even more. We're gonna make it even harder. Oh, they can't beat it. They shouldn't. We're gonna make it even harder. And funnily enough, every single guide I have posted during the pre-patch, those challenges were actually hard, buffed more than the others. So we can see, Vengeance Demon Hunter, I did not have any pre-patch data, or did I? Did I do Vengeance during pre-patch? Let's see quickly. I think I did, right? Vengeance. Oh, I actually did. Beautiful. So it was like... I can actually note this one down as well. 331k. Okay. And then when do we see Cruel? 202k. So this, look at this. Like, this nerf is totally fine. It's a decent 5% buff. 10% actually. So like, this is totally fine. This is all not fine, but it's still doable. But when we scroll down to cases like Fury Warrior, Agatha had a 550k HP during Dragonflight, which was a fine fight, not too hard, not too easy. Then they made it 760k, which was still doable, but then they buff it by 50%. Like, how is, who in the right mind makes these changes? But like, this cannot be on purpose. Either their coding is absolute shit, which all these changes are getting caused by some other changes, which we're unaware of. Probably the Mage Tower challenges, the codes are aligned with something else, that whenever they change those, these get changed as well. Like the current state of Mage Tower, which happens to be one of my favorite contents of the game, is not dog shit. I wanted to use a worse word for it, but dog shit is probably the YouTube friendly phrase. But yeah, look at this. So for demo, they buff. Look at this. This was like 1% buff. 1%. Like, this cannot be caused intentionally. Like, who's like, okay, let's buff demo by 1%. This 1% is gonna give it the right edge to the fight. horrible. Like, look at this. This. So they leave the Karam HP the same for Frost Mage, but Rise gets buffed for like 20k HP. Like if you wanna buff it by a good sum, like 10% at least. Like this cannot be caused intentionally. I don't know what is causing it. Fire. There's barely any fire change from Dragonflight, not even pre-patch. But then Arcane, which was already an absolutely horrible fight, they buff by 450k, which happens to be 40%. This is insanity. Like I don't know what the Prot Paladin, they just doubled HPs. Hey, we're gonna just buff it by 100%. Very good. And then Shadow Priest remains unchanged. Like, you know what I'm saying? Windwalker, which was a joke already. I mean, Windwalker, they can make it a million HP. It's gonna be a joke. Because the Blood Totem fight doesn't have a hardened rage. You can just keep going and going and going. It's totally fine. But then, Brewmaster, 200% buff since Dragonflight. They just tripled the HP. Tripled. This is like, do yourself a favor if you're after Mage Tower, just like as a guide writer, I'm telling you to keep your hands off Mage Tower. I'm not gonna say it's not doable, but go enjoy the current expansion content instead of this anomaly. So assassination was barely doable in pre-patch. Like you kill the boss fight before you hit the hardened rage part, and they buffed it by 300k HP. 300k is a lot when you're pulling like 3k. That's 100 seconds. You cannot afford the fight to take 2 minutes longer. You just can't. Enhancement almost doubled the HP. Like, how? What are you thinking? But I'm convinced they're not changing this on purpose. Either like the HPs of the Mage Tower bosses are connected to the delves, and when they make changes to the delves, they change these as well. Or I really don't know if they are doing this on purpose. Sorry that I say this, some more shat in their brains, because this is not, you cannot sit there and be like, okay, alright, if you already messed it up during the pre-patch, people struggled. There were countless forums complaining they can't complete it. Let's buff it. Let's make it even harder. But only some challenges. Let's buff some challenges by 100%, some by 1%, and maybe even nerf some. The only challenge that was nerfed was the Prot. Prot before last week, it has 377k, and it now has 306k. So they nerfed one, they buff and leave 35 challenges. Like, please, Blizzard, make it make sense. I had taken out my time today to like finish this with the data we have. If you guys have data from pre-patch, please let me know in the comments if for the stuff I'm missing right now. But yeah, do yourself a favor. If you want to get Mage Tower done, wait till they fix this. This should get fixed. Like, this is not the way Blizzard wants to have things going. Go enjoy your content. I will keep you guys up to date if there is a change to Mage Tower HPs to scaling. I will make sure you guys know it the first day it happens. and then you can get back to your challenges and you get your mount and your achievement. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.